Call 716-912-6940. Western New York's cleaning and restoration leader. From Buffalo to Long Island, this is I-86 After Dark.
All right, welcome to I-86 After Dark, everybody. It's Wednesday night, February 11th, and of course, we know it's about 3 days before National Singles Awareness Day. But, of course, we got Buffalo Bob here with us. Great Dane's back after his skiing accident, so, of course, Dane, welcome back. How you feeling, man?
Thank you, Ginger. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a recovery here. So it's been about 2 weeks since the skiing accident, so I'm still in like a full leg cast. So I'm broadcasting live from my living room.
There you go. There you go.
This is my little living area. It's my bed, my office, and my TV watching area.
Hey, brother. Well, hey, at least nice to see you back. You know, good to hear you're doing better too. And of course, you got some nice hospital drugs for a while. So, you know, you got to have a little bit of that at least before they let you out.
Oh yeah.
So good stuff. Bob, how you doing, man? You're muted, dude. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with your sound, dude, but yeah, your microphone's not even working.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
It's kind of funny because we were just talking to him right before we launched the intro.
Yeah, I know.
Well, anyone who's watched this show for a long time knows that Bobby's Wi-Fi is ass, and it doesn't work half the time. So it does happen. I don't know
So
if his microphone just
tell us how you're feeling using hand signs.
Yeah. Yeah. He probably wants to use the one finger salute. Exactly. So
Buddha hand.
Exactly. So I don't know, unless he drops off and comes back on or something. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to drop out and come back in. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, his stuff is like beyond screwed up right now. But yeah, and of course he just sent the topics list, which I already had that, so that's fine. He'll jump back on in a few moments. So of course, you know, we'll go ahead and we'll get the show kicked off. But of course, bam, gotta raise a beer to you, Sam Adams, Cold Snap, limited edition.
Beer is always good.
Oh fuck. Yeah, of course I just got it all over me, so whatever. I don't give a shit. Let's go ahead and get started. So of course, if you guys want to jump on the show, feel free. We're going to be here for at least an hour and a half, our usual stuff. And of course, you know, next couple of days after, you can always pick up our stuff on Spotify and all the other platforms as well. So, oh, look who's back.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now we can.
Oh my fucking God.
Yeah, well, it's like the Verizon commercial. It's like, can you hear me now? Or whatever it was.
Oh God.
Yeah, and I just spilled a beer all over myself, so that was even better.
Good job, dumbass.
Come on, you guys are supposed to be in better shape than I am.
Yeah, but no, to answer your question about why I turned into Helen Keller for a few minutes, I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm going to be a dad in 5 weeks. My wife and I are really, really excited, and I'm a little overwhelmed from the idea of this happening, but I think I'll manage. But on top of all that, the Super Bowl was this past weekend, so I'm kind of just cruising through that.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to kick off the show tonight with that. So, of course, if you guys want to make some comments, feel free. Dame's back. He's here with us. So, of course, we know that the J Fan Club will be here more than likely, which will be all well and good. So
maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all good. So, of course, Super Bowl 60. What a defensive masterclass it was, as the Seattle Seahawks beat the living shit out of the New England Patriots. And oh, it was a beautiful game. 29-13 is the final. Kenneth Walker III is the MVP. He just totally ran the ball right down their throats. And at least at Vrabel's credit, he basically said they didn't show up. They just flat out got beat. But who would have thought Sam Darnold would have a Super Bowl ring? And if Luffy was here,
first quarterback in that draft class.
Yeah. And I will tell you right now, if anyone remembers our old show, Buffalo After Dark, and anyone wants to check out the Luffy rant of Sam fucking Darnold, go ahead. Now, I don't remember, what season was that? Was that like season 3, season 4?
It might have been like season 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Or earlier even? Yeah.
I know it
wasn't season 1.
Yeah, or because we happened to happen like the first season of it at that time was during like COVID, when it was during like trial and error. But one of the episodes we did cover the story about when Sam Darnold got traded to the Panthers, and that was when our old buddy Adam Fitzgerald, or Luffy as we call him, threw a bitch fit about him, saying Sam fucking Darnold. Yeah, he just lost his mind that day, and I was just like laughing hysterically, and I'm like, tell us how you really feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And literally from there, that's how it went. We never heard the end of Sam Darnold at that time, but who would have ever thought he would have gotten a ring? But hey, good for him. You know, I mean, he's been around to a bunch of different teams. He was able to finally make it happen. But that Seattle defense was lights out. I mean, that was probably one of the best defensive performances I've seen in a long time.
Oh yeah. Plus, they didn't turn over the ball once whole postseason. So first team to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Sam Darnold also became the first Super Bowl winning quarterback to not commit to a turnover throughout the 3 games that he's played in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he played really well. And, I mean, that offense was clicking on all cylinders. I mean, they just had an answer for everything that New England was throwing at them. And Walker was playing great. I mean, Darnold, I mean, there wasn't a lot of yardage that you were going to be getting from any of the QBs, but he put it in the right places at the right times. And literally, I mean, the fact that the defense was able to force New England to turn it over a couple times and recover, that's all they needed to do. They kept it simple, and they just straight up attacked. And that's exactly what you have to do in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean,
it was a pretty boring game. Before the game started, my prediction was 30-15, so I was pretty close to the final score. Although I was hoping New England was going to get shut out.
Well, yeah, of course. I would have loved to see that.
I think a lot of people were low-key thinking the Patriots are going to get shut out because, oh my God, what the hell happened to the Patriots? I mean, I'm not going to sit here and crown Drake May as the second coming of Allen or Brady, but that dude was monkey ass throughout the entire playoffs. Let me look at his stats. I mean, against the Chargers, he barely did anything. Against the Texans, he only did a misfortune because of C.J. Stroud. In fact, I think he was slightly better than Stroud. And then Jarrett Stidham, who hasn't touched a football in like 2 years, and now he's at the biggest stage of his career, and he gets demolished by a real team. What a concept.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not ready to shit on him yet. I mean, he's only in his second year. He didn't have much time. His line was just god-awful in that game. He broke Joe Burrow's record for most sacks against in a postseason.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, that stat alone is embarrassing. Like, when you think of it, when you think about it, I mean, the Bengals O-line, the Bengals never really established an offensive line, and they haven't since like Boomer Esiason. I mean, they never did one for Carson Palmer. They never did one with like David Klingler or anybody for that matter, even Joe Burrow, Andy Dalton. The Bengals never really had an established offensive line, so I'm not shocked. At that time, Burrow got sacked the most amount, but the fact that it's Drake May of all people, I don't even think the guy reached 200 passing yards in the Super Bowl of all places.
No, he didn't. And actually, with how everything ended up working out, I mean, he was like I think below 150 before halftime or something like that. I mean, he really didn't do anything.
The crazy stat was that Bad Bunny had more rushing yards during his halftime performance than New England had during the entire game.
Yeah, yeah, that's bad. That's really bad. Yeah, so to give you an idea, so Sam Darnold threw, so he was 19 and 38, threw for 202. And then, of course, Kenneth Walker, the third, 135 yards on 27 carries. So, I mean, he just totally went lights out. Cobb had a nice game. But when you look at what ultimately happened, especially when it came down to the New England Patriots, I mean, it's just Drake May. Actually, surprisingly, we were both wrong in terms of the yards. He actually went 27 to 43 for 295. But he had a 79.1% rating. No. And he actually got 37 yards rushing on top of it. But when you look at everything else, Ramondre Stevenson and Henderson, Stevenson only got 23 yards rushing, and Henderson only rushed for 19 all game.
Jesus Christ.
They had no running game whatsoever.
None.
Well, if there was one thing that was abundantly clear, and Tom, you and I talked about it for months about the New England Patriots, that they had the most cupcake schedule of the entire season in general. And people are going to just champion the Pats saying, oh, they're up and coming and this like that. I honestly do not buy it, only just because their schedule was such crap. Look at the regular season opponents. They only beat one confirmed playoff team, and that was the Buffalo Bills at that point in time. And then everybody else, it was like the Jets twice, the Dolphins twice, the Browns, and then there was like a bunch of other teams that they beat.
All garbage teams.
Yeah, exactly. They're all shit this year. And to say that, oh, the Patriots are a powerhouse. Oh, they're back. And it's like, I'm not buying that because
No, me either.
Because Drake May in his rookie year, I said, okay, if he develops the way he's going to develop, then okay, then he has some upside and he turns into a good quarterback. I give him credit for where credit is due, and that is that he can run the ball. And that is a major plus to have in today's NFL.
Right. And that's really the only thing that happened. But other than that, you all know who led the receiving corps for New England? Matt Collins. Matt Collins, 4 receptions for 78 yards. He had the most out of any receiver that they had.
Yeah, he came into the stadium looking like Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. The barefoot Hannibal Lecter. And actually, of course, the All Over Jay fan club is in the house here. So he says, the Great Dane returns. What's happening, bro? Heard you pulled a Lindsey Vonn. You all right, bro?
Yeah. Actually, I was telling everybody.
We'll talk about that in a moment in the second half.
I was telling somebody this the other day because when Lindsey Vonn went down, we got almost the same kind of fracture. Except hers is in her left leg. Mine's in my right. And I said the other big difference is she was going about 90 miles an hour and I was going about 5.
Yes.
Oh, my God. Well, at least you're okay. So there's that.
Yeah. Oh, I got my face bashed in pretty well, too. So I had cut my nose, split my lip. There was like blood all over the place. And then when the people found me, they were like, are you okay? You're bleeding everywhere. I'm like, that's not the problem. I'm like, my leg is the problem.
Right.
Yeah, no, but at least you're okay. I mean, that's all that matters. And you're home and you're safe and you got the proper treatment. Your kids are around to help you out. So that's.
But in all honesty, I was probably only going like about 30 miles an hour. And that's how badly damaged I got.
Yeah. It's crazy how things like that can happen. I mean, skiing accidents, snowboard accidents. I mean, and actually, Godspeed to that teenager's family who was killed earlier this week in that snowmobile accident, because that was just absolutely crazy what happened down there. I think in Warsaw, wherever it was. But yeah, it's just things like that. They're freak accidents. A lot of times you don't expect it; it just happens.
Well, it's all fun, but you can get out of control real fast, unfortunately. But I was wearing a helmet, so that was good because I hit my helmet pretty hard.
Well, aren't helmets supposed to be like protecting you from like concussions and shit like that?
Yeah. Except that on the second rollover I landed on my face, so that was where all the damage happened. But the first one I hit the top of the helmet, so it was a good thing I was wearing a helmet.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but no, there is one thing I want to address real quick, and I don't care if I get backlash for it at this point, is that I did not watch the Bad Bunny halftime show. I refused to watch it.
No, I didn't bother watching. I usually throw something else on during halftime just because the halftime show usually sucks anyways.
I'll admit I watched it. I wasn't very entertained. And then I found out later, like, Lady Gaga was there and Ricky Martin. I was like, oh, I didn't even see them.
Yeah.
The coolest thing about that halftime show was, like, the bushes, the sugar cane. I didn't know those were, like, people. So I'm, like, running around and running off. I was like, wow, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, my wife actually showed me that, and I'm like, look at all those chickens.
Yeah. I actually did pick up a rotisserie chicken tonight, now that I think about it. So,
I mean, it was a boring halftime show. I didn't really particularly care for it. But I refused to switch over to the Kid Rock one, too. I'm like, that's just not going to work either.
Yeah. I did catch a little bit of that, honestly. And I'm like, I watched maybe like 10 minutes of it. That was it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I honestly watched that over the Bad Bunny one because I didn't feel like watching The Establishment. I'd rather watch something that's actually enjoyable. Plus, and usually when I watch the halftime show, I usually like when performers actually can speak English, and that's not to be a dick.
But I mean, I enjoyed the Green Day performance before the game. That was pretty decent.
Yeah. Yeah, Green Day's actually been one of those bands. I mean, I remember them as a teenager growing up, and I mean, and listened to them quite a bit. So,
well, I'm still surprised they're around. I would have never thought in the '90s that they would be one of the bands that's still going.
Yeah, I think they've been around now for about 30 years at this point.
Yeah,
probably 35 almost. I think.
Well, still, it's a longevity, but it is what it is. But I will say, though, the national anthem that started the Super Bowl, I thought was incredible.
Yeah.
That was good.
Which one are you talking about?
The one that would the main.
Yeah, remember, there's two national anthems now.
Well, there's two national anthems. There's America the Beautiful or God Bless America. And I was like, can we cut all this crap out? It's like, come on.
Yeah, well, if you want to get technical, there would be three, but I don't count the third one if you happen to know what I'm talking about. And then when that comes on, I just mute the fucking TV, and I either put on something else or I just mute the TV or change the channel or whatever, you know.
Yeah, well, we'll see when the transgender national anthem comes out.
Oh, God. Cut them tits, cut them
then there'll be three.
Yeah, right. Right.
Yeah.
Although I gotta say, there is one cool thing though. So I actually, right before our Super Bowl, so one of my, and I think I might have mentioned this, but one of my high school friends actually moved in to the same complex I live in now. And first thing we did Friday, it was cool. I had a few shots of Jameson after a long week, so that's all good. We're kind of making it our new tradition on Fridays. We're gonna call it like French Shot Fridays or something like that, where we just drink after we wrap up work. So.
Yeah,
I mean, that's never a bad thing.
No,
never.
I mean, shit. I just bought some beer tonight, and got it in my fridge. So that was one of those things. I had to buy it, drop like $200 worth in groceries at like two places. But hey, at least I restocked the alcohol. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm trying not to drink since my ass is glued to the couch.
Yeah. Well, that and plus, if you got to take any other stuff, still, who knows how that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't normally drink to begin with. I'm a social drinker, but not like to the extent where I'm like, well, I just come home from work and I just drink a beer. I don't do that. That's not my thing. But it's whatever.
Yeah. I mean, and it's not often I drink on the show, but I figured, might as well. It's been a while since I've done that. Last time I drank up is when Dame first joined us.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the last time I had anything. So now that he's back, I was like, all right, I figured might as
It's
well have
weird because
beer
I'm a
drink.
real big beer drinker, and I don't think I've ever had a beer on the show ever.
Yeah. Well, hey, you can have one. I mean, when we had Glenn Parker on, he was drinking during the interview. So
Yeah, I know.
it's
Nick
all
Fakota called me a pussy
good.
because I wasn't drinking.
Wait, who was this, Tom?
No, Dame said Vakota was calling him a pussy for not drinking.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. I can't believe he said that to you, man. That's like a core memory in like your head.
That's I wish crazy. It was during the show, but I think it was right before we started recording. I was like, damn it. I was like, I would have taken that clip.
Damn straight. But speaking of drinks, I could use a drink this week because how the hell did Sam Darnold, of all people, Mr. Mono, Mr. I See Ghosts, ends up saying, I see rings? How is this even possible?
His defense was so good, man. He just had to be in control and not do anything stupid.
Yeah, that's what it was. Defense, it's like Peyton Manning's last Super Bowl. Defense bailed him out. Except the good thing is Darnold managed exactly what he was supposed to. So,
yep.
He didn't screw up. He didn't throw any interceptions. He kept everything exactly where they needed it to go, and there you are.
Like, I honestly thought when he was playing so conservatively at the beginning of the game and they kept kicking all those field goals, I'm like, this is going to come back to bite him in the ass. But it never did.
Right. Oh, and instead, May tried to play a little bit of hero ball in the second half, and look what it got him, 2 turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's also what happens when the Patriots' offensive line is derailed. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Will Campbell, it was revealed that he had a torn ligament in his right knee throughout the regular season, and he kind of played through all that in the beginning of the playoffs and then into the Super Bowl.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting, and I will say this. Okay, so New England showed up. They gave the Bills fans a lot of crap because they're like, "Oh, hey, we're back." Guess what? You didn't show up,
mm-hmm.
and you had the easiest schedule known to mankind. So honestly, you guys didn't even deserve to be there. And as far as I'm concerned, I mean, had the Bills not screwed up in our playoff game, we would have probably gone there. And who knows? Maybe we might have been celebrating a ring like Seattle did on Sunday night, which it was interesting because I did see how they were rioting outside of Lumen Field, and they were doing some crazy stuff down there.
Well, I mean, and speaking of Seattle, I don't know if you guys saw this, but this came out like this morning. And apparently, as of today, they had the Seattle Seahawks Super Bowl parade that if you go to public school in the Washington area within the state of Seattle and you want to go see the Seattle Seahawks Super Bowl parade, kids are not allowed to go to the parade and they're forced to stay in school. Like, come on, man, be a little decent. I mean, it's like, let kids be kids, and it's possibly the only time they're ever going to get a chance to see a Super Bowl ring. Sure, they have 2 rings, but half of the kids that are in elementary school now weren't even alive for the first one.
Right. Yeah, let them celebrate, Seriously, let them celebrate. I can guarantee you, if the Bills ever win a Super Bowl, this whole city's shutting down for at least a couple days.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Buffalo's going to burn.
Mm-hmm.
When you say burn, you mean like Bruce Almighty, when the city goes down in flames?
Pretty much.
Yeah. or like that show, Beavis and Butthead, it's like, fire,
yeah.
fire.
Oh my God.
I mean, speaking of former Buffalo Bills, how'd you feel about Stephon Diggs? I know a lot of Bills fans were dunking on him pretty hard.
Well, let's see. He did absolutely nothing in the Super Bowl and does a nice little ball spin when he ends up getting it lit up. Then, apparently, him and Cardi B might not be together anymore because apparently he decided not to keep it in his pants, decided to do some random person, and there you go.
Doesn't he have like 6 different baby mamas now?
Yeah, he's got like at least 5.
Yeah, well, the story behind that is I actually did a little digging because I didn't want to come out half-assed with that information. So apparently what happened was there's 2 different versions of the story coming out. The first one is that Cardi B did not have front row seats to the Super Bowl, but rather Stephon Diggs gave those front row seats to his ex-girlfriend, who's is carrying one of his kids, which that's what I think. And the other story is that he couldn't handle the loss so much, like to the point where it like brought back the Buffalo Bills days to the point where he brought in another girl who had no relation to him at all to the hotel, and they just started banging. So Cardi B got a whim of this. So yeah, so the tweet is this. This is from a person called Write a Rap, and it's a rap account, like follows all like the big rappers.
Yeah, here you go. Let's get you a little intro music. Oomph, 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 oomph. There you go.
So
there you go. Now we're set up properly.
Now we got it. So Cardi B and Stephon Diggs just unfollowed each other on Instagram, which is a big fucking thing. And she had his 2-month-old baby, and he was caught at the Super Bowl sneaking his girl's best friend into his hotel room, not even an hour after he lost the big game. Jesus. There is no loyalty with this guy. The dude had more baby mamas than he did touchdowns or receptions in the Super Bowl or in the playoffs.
Jeez.
Well, I saw the confetti meme came back again, him watching the confetti fall. I mean, that's almost as big as the crying Jordan now.
Yes.
Good point.
Well, I mean, the big thing, too, is that he has to go to court, what's today, 11th, so the 13th. On Friday, he has to go to court for his trial, supposedly, for the strangulation thing that we covered a couple weeks ago. And it got delayed back after the Super Bowl because it was such a big ordeal. So now, if he's proven guilty, he might be spending some time in jail within the last few years of his prime. And I'm just saying to myself, you know what? Couldn't have happened to a nicer person. Because realistically, not only is Stephon all about himself, because he has proven that throughout the years we've covered the show, and it's gotten to a point now where it's like me, all about me. And you're not only backstabbing your relationship with Cardi B, you're also fucking other people behind her back as well. I mean, do I blame Cardi B for all this? No, even though I don't like the chick. I don't like her music. I think her music is not influential for kids. However, I think that she should respectfully be treated like any other woman when they're in a relationship. And Stephon has no consciousness of what a relationship is. It's just him and him only, and to just feed his ego, and it cost him.
Yeah. I mean, and even, for example, like even, my ex, I mean, me and her, we're still on good terms. I mean, of course, still like a dad to her daughter and everything, and her kids. So it's like one of those things. We get along fine. It just, the long-term deal was not working out for us. And who knows? I mean, if it does in the future, it does in the future. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But at least you still got to have that respect there. And I mean, don't just go fucking around with some random people or whatever just because. I mean, come on, have some self-decency.
Yeah, but the thing is, Stephon has no self-decency.
Yeah. Well, I remember like Minnesota Vikings fans like warning Buffalo Bills fans when we traded for Diggs about his attitude, but we kind of ignored it. But now it's been in the news lately that Justin Jefferson is interested in coming to the Bills and the Vikings. So I'm sure you guys would both be on board. For him to come over to the Bills.
Oh yeah.
Totally would. I mean, we need a wide receiver number one, and it just depends on what the Bills are looking to give up for him. I mean, I know it's probably going to take at least a first rounder, but it's
maybe
the
1 or 2.
Yeah, or shit, throw Keon Coleman in there if he doesn't want to be here.
Or how about this? If they're that determined, here's my thought process. The rumor is the Bills might be cutting Dawson Knox, and the reason is that he's eating up $10 million in the cap. The Bills are at $11 million over the cap currently. So if they start cutting ties or whatever, maybe use Dawson Knox as trade bait in the deal rather than Keon Coleman, because what Terry Pagula said a few weeks ago made him look like a dipshit, and all his value just deplunked. So my thinking is, if you want to get Justin Jefferson, offer them Dawson Knox, 2 first-round picks, a 4th and a 7th as a bonus to kind of say, we'll take on all this cap. If you need a tight end, then here you go. But the thing is that if they do that, what do you do with TJ Hawkinson?
Good
It's a
thought.
big question.
Yeah. Or maybe something you cut Knox because the Bills are going to exercise the 50-year option on Kincaid, which Kincaid's played a lot better than Knox. I mean, so you've got at least your one stud tight end right there, but maybe you don't have to give up as many picks if you throw, if you do Knox and you throw Keon Coleman in there, which Keon Coleman hasn't had a ton of flashes. And maybe like a first rounder, maybe like one other like lower pick. I mean, that might not be a bad option.
I mean, it might not be a bad option, but you also have to think, if you want the player, the seller has to be satisfied with the deal.
Well,
My only complaint is, would they be willing to take Keon Coleman? I mean, Minnesota has had trouble at quarterback since getting rid of Darnold, which they should have never done in the first place.
Well, JJ McCarthy was. I mean, they should have kept him and let JJ McCarthy develop, but obviously they didn't do that.
Right, and the way I look at it is, they should have kept Darnold. They should have extended him on the dot, but the Wolf family said, "Oh no, Sam, we don't trust you to be our franchise quarterback. You could go fuck off somewhere." And the next thing you know, 1 year later.
Yeah, he's a Super Bowl champion.
He's a Super Bowl champion. Yeah, exactly. It's like Minnesota. This is why no one takes you seriously, because you're the Cleveland Browns of the NFC. You do stupid shit every day. The only difference is that you at least make the playoffs in a consistent manner. Not every year, but you consistently make the playoffs.
Really hanging around
consistently. Yeah, that's what they do. But the only thing is
although they did fire their GM, so there you go on that.
Exactly. Well, he's getting blamed for not signing Darnold, so there's a big obligation to that. But I just don't know, like, if the Vikings would be willing to take on Coleman on his own with those picks, because obviously first-round picks are going to be on the table. But the other thing that has to come in mind is, do the Bills have the cap to do it?
Right. Well, in one other way too. I mean, think of it in the sense, if you throw Coleman and Knox in there, and maybe like a first and a second rounder, I mean, do you think that would take care of the overall value, or do you have to throw in additional compensation to it?
You might have to throw compensation because, again, you're talking about a top 10 player, top 3 wide receiver in the league. And it's very clear to everybody that Jetta wants to play for the Bills. He wants to be with Joe Brady because now that he's the coach, he's bringing in players that have a desire to come to Buffalo and play with Joe Brady. It's very obvious.
Right. It's going to be an interesting offseason because then when you think about how the Bills have rebuilt their staff, and the first thing is listening to Jim Leonard's press conference, I'm like, finally, we have a smart defensive coordinator who actually knows what he's talking about. And not just using that big zone defense that basically gave up 15 yards worth of spread coverage, but he actually wants an attack style defense, which if you want to see what an attack style defense is, look back at Super Bowl 50 and what Seattle ran. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. But what do you think, Dame? Do you think the Bills should go after Jefferson, or do you think they should go cheaper?
No, I think the problem in particularly the last couple of years, is they've been trying to go dumpster diving, basement bargain hunting. They do need this number one receiver. I know they got Allen, and I know he's incredible, but he needs a number one receiver. I don't care what you got to do to make this happen. You got to make it happen. There is a lot of money coming off the books for the Bills, but some of that money is going to have to be spent on revamping this defense. Even if they're going to change the scheme up, they're going to have to get quite younger and better on defense also.
Yeah. Well, that was another thing I said for years, is that in order for the Bills to be competitive, that they need to get younger and start cutting some ties with these players. But the other thing, too, that they need to address as well is, I know receivers is a big topic, but they also need elite pass rushers. Because everybody said Joey Bosa was supposed to be the guy, but he didn't do shit against Bo Nix in the playoffs. Why is it that every year that the Bills have been in the playoffs, they always run into this issue where they need a lot of help in this position. Russo can't do it. He's great in the regular season, but he can't get it done in the playoffs. Ed Oliver got hurt, so I can't fault him for that.
Yeah, multiple times.
Yeah, I cannot fault him for that. DL Walker was only a rookie, so I give him a pass. He's getting better. But as far as like Adrian Epinesa and Joey Bosa and all these guys that have been here all year long, what type of validation does Epinesa have to stay on the team?
It's a good question. And Epinesa's been cut before. So it wouldn't be the first time we've gotten rid of him.
He was cut the first time? When?
Oh, wait. No, I'm trying to remember who we cut and brought back.
Oh, God. There's a lot of people they cut and brought back.
Yeah, my mind's
He signed with the Giants.
Oh, speaking of the Giants, I want to ask you, because you weren't here last week, how the hell do you feel about Matt Nagy being the offensive coordinator?
I don't know. Can it get any worse, really? I mean, sure. We'll try it, sure.
Oh, God. All I was going to say
I don't know. I mean, you got to go into the draft. They're looking at probably getting another top-end talent at wide receiver to complement Neighbors. And then, Scatterbo will be back. Dart's, going to be the starting quarterback. So, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I mean, they're still years away from making any noise. But, let's see if something can go in the positive direction for once for this team.
I think so. What do you think, Tom?
All I can say is Godspeed to the Giants because you're going to need a lot of help. That's one way I'll put it.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not crazy about Matt Nagy. I never really have been.
No, I don't blame you for that. But, because it's funny. We were talking about Jefferson before about how he's a possibility for a trade rumor. Mm-hmm. There is actually a proposal in the place for for trades for teams to do. And then there's another trade rumor that was starting to fall around. And I'm sure you know where I'm going with this one. It's Max Crosby. Crosby's been linked to the Bills now for the last couple of years. And he's already said, I am not playing for the Raiders anymore. I'm done. I don't want to be here. Yeah. I want to go someplace where I can compete for a Super Bowl. He's outright said it.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I mean, he decided to come back once, and it's like, oh, here we go through another rebuild again. It's like, I don't blame him.
Yeah, but we actually have a comment.
Go ahead, Reed.
So Larry just said cutting Dawson Knox would save $10 million on the cap, but he's Josh Allen's best friend. Well, guess who else is my best friend? These two fucking idiots, and they don't cost me anything because I get them for free.
Right.
Yeah. But I guess the question I have for you two is, I don't think the Bills could afford both. So who would you rather have, Justin Jefferson or Max Crosby?
I'm gonna let Tom go first.
It's a good question. And honestly, if I had to choose one or the other, I would go with Jefferson just because we finally get that number one wide receiver that we need. We can build around it. I think he would be the better long-term option versus bringing in Max Crosby because, I mean, we could bring in, pass rushers similar or we can draft them. And, I mean, there's a lot of different options we could go. And even in free agency, besides Max Crosby, you're still going to have options this offseason. Yeah. So, I mean, I would take the wide receiver first and then look to go to the pass rush.
Well, I think for me, the big thing is that receivers are going to be a mandatory get for the Bills, and it's very clear to everybody. But I think with pass rushers, you could get them anywhere. You could get them for cheap in free agency. You could get them in the draft. But if we're talking about like the Aiden Hutchinsons or the Myles Garretts of all people, that is remotely impossible. They had that opportunity last spring to make that happen, but they didn't even bother touching it. So in a way, it came back to bite them in the ass a little bit. Was I excited about Bosa when he came here? Yes. But the big thing is, ever since that, that nasty divorce from Von Miller with his contract and all that, I think this is the last year of his current deal with the cap hit. I'm not sure. But it might either this year or next year. It's one of the two. And I think with that in mind, pass rushers can be developed, but it all comes down to who's going to be the guy. I mean, if they want to bring back Epinesa for a year, fine. But you need to get yourself like at least an established wide receiver. We're not talking to fucking Brandon Cooks. We're talking about big boy, huge, legit, top tier wide receivers. That is a must. And I think the pressure is mounting on that.
Yeah, I agree with the both of you. I would have to say I would rather have Justin Jefferson over Max Crosby because you really, at least for the foreseeable future, you have to build around Josh Allen in the offense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
100%. And I think this is the last year that we have to worry about Von Miller being in the cap hit for us as well, because I think he ended up costing us like 8.5 this year. So at least, that's going to be a big plus. We won't have to worry about that going forward. But then here's another possibility, and this is actually something that one of the other podcasters, actually, I think it was Dan Mitchell who ended up throwing this out there, but his thought was, what about possibly trying to go after Marvin Harrison Jr.? But here's the thing. With Arizona, he's done absolutely nothing. But then Kyler Murray's a shit QB. So at the same time, he hasn't had anyone that he's really been able to work with. But, what about possibly him maybe being a little bit of a cheaper option, but someone that could still develop?
Not Marvin Harrison Jr., although the name is intriguing. I don't trust Marvin Harrison Jr. I would rather go after Michael Wilson. And let me explain this. Michael Wilson, because I had him on my fantasy team this year in my job, he was incredible in the second half. And the guy who the Bills, I forget his name, he was a wide receiver coach or something like that for the Bills, or he's one of the new assistants for Joe Brady. And he came from the Arizona Cardinals. And a lot of people immediately pointed at Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm looking one other path, and people are looking another path. And everybody's jumping on the bandwagon for Harrison. I'm on the Michael Wilson bandwagon because here's the thing about Wilson. He's a good slot receiver. He could make catches within 5 to 10 yards, 20 if he needs to. He's got good hands and he's got good speed. He's got good size for a receiver. He's above average at 6'1", 6'2", 183 pounds. This is a guy that you want to have. And I'm not saying this as like blanket security, but he could be a good, solid number 2 wide receiver behind Khalil Shakir, at least in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, and who you're thinking about is Drew Terrell, the new wide receiver coach.
Right. And a lot of people said what he did with Michael Wilson, he could do with whoever the Bills bring in as a wide receiver, because this is no more fucking around, because they need to get wide receivers, and it's very clear to everybody.
Okay, cool. Dan, what are your thoughts?
I have to echo what Bob just said. Like I said, they've been fucking around, like you said, for the last couple years. Trying to do these plug and play options. These cagey veterans. It's not working. So they're really going to have to make a splash, whether that's going out and getting a player like Justin Jefferson or finally drafting a wide receiver in the first round.
Right. I mean, I'm not against the idea of drafting a wide receiver either, but you don't want to just draft a wide receiver just for the sake of drafting a wide receiver. You need somebody who brings talent. You need somebody who can catch the ball and can read routes. Keon Coleman had no traits of this when he got drafted, and I think the Bills knew that. And I'm not echoing off of the press conference from several weeks ago with what Terry Pagula said, because that was really stupid of him to do. But anybody who watches the games consistently saw how Keon Coleman developed. That guy cannot handle pressure very well. He doesn't handle it, and it's very obvious.
Yeah. And it sucks to see it, but, it's one of those things right now. Coleman's a miss.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because he cares more about putting on a show than actually doing his job and making millions doing it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're right. But here's one thing that did come out, and definitely we want to get your opinion on it as well. So, of course, with Super Bowl 60 being over, there's a new trade proposal that could happen in the offseason. And basically, of course, for anyone that that follows the league. The start of the new league year will start on March 11th. And that's when trades will be an option, of course, for all the teams since the 2025 deadline. But one of the things that is expected to happen or potentially happen, and this was actually on the Pat McAfee show on Monday, Adam Schefter actually revealed that the teams are expected to extend the trade limits from 3 years of draft picks to 5 years of draft picks. So basically right now, what that could do is the speculation is it could increase the likelihood of some really big trades that could happen. And some teams might be willing to mortgage their future to acquire their next star, aka Cleveland, which is a dumpster fire and they can't do anything, or perhaps the Miami Dolphins, which still can't do anything, and they're not going to do anything with their new coaching staff. So, that being said, what are some of your thoughts in terms of what could happen with extending the deadline to 5 years?
Oh God, Damon, you want to go first on this one?
Oh, damn it! I'd help you take it.
All right, fine. All right, so my official thought is, you said 5 years, right? You said?
Mm-hmm.
What is this, the NBA?
Well, the NBA, I think, is doing like as far as 7 years out or something, because I saw some deals that were going as far as 2029, 2030.
Wow. Okay.
And that was last year.
Yeah, well, I don't follow basketball, but I do as hell know that a lot of players that get traded end up getting, especially the big players, like the big name superstars, you know, when they get traded to a new team, some team is willing to throw away 5 first-round picks in a row. And I know that in the NBA, it's only 2 rounds in the draft. I get it. But the big thing is that if you're willing to trade away your future just, you know, to make that kind of a deal, I honestly think if you're really willing to make that kind of commitment, you better damn be sure that you have the approval of the owner and the approval of everyone else and really pushing in to go all in, because it could very well haunt you, especially like imagine a few years ago with Russell Wilson when he got traded to the Broncos. Imagine if that rule applied today, the Broncos would have given up 4 or 5 first-round picks just for that trade to happen. And Seattle probably would have won 3 Super Bowls by now.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah, so I had to do a little research on this. So it says the last time an NFL team moved 3 first-round picks in one trade was when the Browns dealt their 2022, 2023, 2024 first-rounders to the Texans in exchange for Deshaun Watson. And we all know how that ended up.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I remember that trade. And I remember just laughing my ass off because I remember, like, the Falcons, the Saints, I think the Panthers were in it at one point. The Browns were originally not on the list, and then they offered more money, and they said, here, we'll take you. And then the big thing was the guaranteed money that he was given by Cleveland. That's why he accepted. But the fact that the Browns, I remember that trade like it was yesterday. I remember saying how stupid that was, and that was going to bite them in the ass. And look what that did.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were kind of like on an upward trajectory at that point, and that trade just killed them and brought them right back down to where they've always been.
And then him getting the blown ACL, and then like the 500 sexual allegations and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, it was only 500. How do we know those were all true?
Yeah, exactly. yeah. Actually, we got some comments here. So, Bobby, if you want to go ahead and take it away, by all
right. So Larry said for me to get the tissues. He said this year's Bills was the last shot is this year before we start declining going into another playoff drought. Okay, well, if you like to talk about Sean McDermott being a fucking choke artist for those 10 years, then okay, that was the last shot. But you sometimes have to change the formation. You have to sometimes change the foundation. You have to just put yourself out there. I mean, look at Al. Let me ask you this, Larry, because I know what you're going to do, because this is the typical Buffalo shit. Did you really think that John Elway was ever going to win a Super Bowl at age 37? No. Nobody believed him at that time. But they were declining because John Elway was getting older. And he won 2 Super Bowl rings. 2.
Mm-hmm.
And that team just needed to rebound and get a new coach. You know what they did? Let me put it this way. They got rid of Dan Reeves. They got rid of Dan Reeves. Everyone said, wow, the Broncos are stupid. They're declining. They could suck cock now. Now look what's happening. The Bills are doing the same thing with getting Joe Brady to be the head coach. Do I agree with the hire? No. But I do agree with the coaches they brought in to help him out. But, oh, my God, Mike Shanahan came out of nowhere and said, wow, Sean, let's go win a fucking Super Bowl. And they won 2.
Right. And then, of course, Larry's also saying he thinks Bean and Brady will be fired in 2 years, putting the Bills into another long playoff drought again, maybe 10 to 12 years long. I don't think it's going to be that long, honestly, if it were to happen. And actually, right now with the team, if they can tweak a couple pieces of the offense and use that attack style defense that Jim Leonard's known for, and that, I mean, obviously they beat us in the playoff game, we're going to be in a better spot.
And I would have to say, as long as they have Allen, there's a chance to make the playoffs, if not go on a run.
Absolutely.
Well, people sometimes, I think, don't really understand the bigger picture, because here's the thing. I always bitch about this, Tom, is Buffalo fans are so attached to mediocrity. They're willing to die for their dead just to basically say that we're going to suck again because we got rid of a choke artist. Like, do you want to win a Super Bowl? Do you want to win a Lombardi?
Right.
Because sometimes you have to put on your big boy pants and you have to look at the status quo and you have to say, what is actually holding the team back? Oh, It was McDermott. It was this. It was that. But all the other times that the Bills have been contenders for years and years and years is that whenever things go wrong, McDermott always fired the coaches that were in his staff just so that he can escape longer. And when he was running out of options, he was the odd man out. It was inevitable that it was going to happen.
I mean, look at how many coordinators he fired.
Yeah. How many defensive coordinators did he get fired? How many offensive coordinators did he get fired? How many special teams coordinators did he get fired? Yep. It was everybody else but Sean McDermott, because the Irish prick decided that I'm the one that's holding the team back. I'm going to fire all the coaches. So you have a generational talent, yes, but and he has a point, because, the Bills only have so much time left before he starts to decline. But I don't see that happening. People said that about Stafford for years.
Right.
Years.
And what was the first thing that Brady did? Bobby Babbage, you went bye-bye. He took a demotion to go to Green Bay.
He did, because he sucked at his job.
Yeah. He was never defensive coordinator material anyways. I could see him being a positions coach, but he was never a defensive coordinator. And we talked about this on the show before too. And Dave, I think even you've heard us talk about it before. How many times did Sean McDermott have to take over the play calling because the defense sucked ass in the first half of the game?
Yeah, really.
I mean, it happened multiple times. And when you look at that, and Bobby Babbage can't, get through an entire season calling every single game because he has to be pulled because his defense sucks ass. The first thing that Joe Brady did, hey, Bobby Babbage, you ain't coming back. What does he do? He goes after Jim Leonard, which he was one of the two coordinators I really wanted to see in here. Leonard, and then, of course, Jim Schwartz, which he decided to pack it up and call it a day in Cleveland after that whole thing with Todd Monken getting hired. But, I mean, if Schwartz would have came back, that would have been a safe pick. I would have been fine with that. He did great with the 4-3. But the thing that I like about Leonard is he's not afraid to mix it up and use hybrid formations. He's very familiar with 3-4. He can work with nickel packages. He can adjust as needed. And the thing is, he doesn't necessarily want to blow up the entire defensive scheme. But what he wants to do is he wants to add pieces to it and make it more of an attack style defense. And that's what this defense has to do. It can't just be sitting back playing like a Tampa 2 or zone coverage when you're like 15 yards off the ball. I mean, look at what this shit's gotten us. Nothing.
Nowhere.
Exactly. Nowhere. And it's been the same scheme. Now, Leslie Frazier had a very similar scheme. Bobby Babbage ended up running basically the same thing. I mean, this is going to be the first major overhaul that we've had since McDermott ended up coming in here. for the defense. And you know what? And the defense needs to be overhauled a little bit, because right now, especially when you look at your safeties and the fact that, I mean, Trey White's only going to do so much. That's one thing. But of course, then when you look at everybody else that we have to get better at blocking the run. That we have to get better at stopping the run. And that was one of our biggest weaknesses. It's been one of our biggest weaknesses for a long time. And the fact that we're going to go to more of an attack style and use hybrid formations, I'm all for it. And if you and again, you know, and I think actually we put it up on our Facebook page. If you guys take a look at it, of course, I-86 Network, Buffalo Sports, but we have the entire feed of the press conference of Jim Leonard on there. Listen to it. This guy knows what the hell he's talking about, and he already has a vision of what he wants to see. And, you know, coming from the Sean Payton tree, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think, Dave?
No, I agree with you guys. You know, a change was needed. And a lot of people before McDermott got fired were calling for his head. And then when it does happen, then everybody's just complaining.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
I was one of them.
I don't get it. Yeah,
right. Yeah, you've talked about it a bunch of times.
Yeah, Tom, you could be the vocal voice. What have I said to you in the last 5 years?
Well, yeah, you wanted him out after 13 seconds.
Thank you. I said it for a while. So for people who said, but the Bills are going to decline because they fired Sean McDermott and they're getting older. Hey, dumbass, that's why there's called a fucking retool. You go and get a GM, you have the guy who you want, and you say, this is how we're going to spend. This is how you're going to retool. We don't just pout because, you lost a playoff game when it was completely on Allen. Okay, that was on Josh. I'm not taking it away from him. I have said that numerous times. But it's the fact that people are willing to hold on to him, as in McDermott. 50,000 signatures or 500,000 signatures, whatever the number was, to hold on to that incompetent bastard. And the only reason that McDermott actually stayed for much longer than he anticipated was Pakula was such a bitch and he was not willing to fire him, and because he had Josh Allen on his back. That's the reason why McDermott stayed much longer than people said. So if you wanted him fired for all those years, don't fucking complain and say that, we're going to be falling apart now. How about just give the guys a chance? Give the coaching staff a chance. Did Seahawks fans say, oh, no, we're going to suck because Pete Carroll got fired? No. They went out and they got Mike McDonald. Oh, no, Sam Darnold's our quarterback. What did they do? They won the fucking Super Bowl. So sometimes change is good. Good.
Mm-hmm. Right. Look what happened to the Philadelphia Eagles when they fired Andy Reid. Goes right to the Super Bowl.
To be fair, it's Chip Kelly after that. But, yes, they won a Super Bowl after Andy Reid got fired. Things like this happen. Here's one more good example, and then we'll move on, is Tony Dungy was the head coach for the Buccaneers for how many years? It couldn't get it done. They fire him, and they trade for John Gruden. And what did they do?
Yeah, John Gruden wins that first year. Dungy eventually goes to Indianapolis. He eventually does get a Super Bowl ring. So, okay, that worked out. And then, of course, John Gruden totally tanked the Tampa Bay Bucs right after that.
Yeah, people will point at being the GM, like, but what if he's got bigger tricks up his sleeve? What if the guys that he wanted to bring in are no longer out of McDermott's ear because he's gone?
Right. Now it's all completely on Bean to do what he has to do in order to keep the team going forward and to actually win a Super Bowl. Now we're going to see what happens in terms of how it all goes. But I will say one thing, though, at least Brady is putting some really good people around him. So he's already, I think, in terms of who he's picked so far, he's done a hell of a lot better than McDermott has with any of his coordinators.
There you go.
So that's a big plus. And at least he ended up getting an OC to come in here just so he has another set of eyes up in the booth. So that's a big plus, too. He realized, hey, even though he's going to call the plays, he needs another person to really see what's going on.
Absolutely. So we have one more topic, and then we're going to get to hockey or the Olympics in this case. But, so I'm sure you guys saw it, is that the 2026 Pro Football Hall of Fame class got announced.
It did, and there's some interesting people in there. And, of course, Luke Kuechly is one of them.
Yeah, so Luke Kuechly, Adam Vinatieri, Larry Fitzgerald, Roger Craig, and Drew Brees. Those are the 5 candidates in the 2026 Hall of Fame class.
It's a good class.
What do you think, Dave?
Oh, it was a pretty good class.
Yeah, at least this time there's like no coaches available or anything like that. And I forgot to mention this on the show last week. Robert Kraft is not a first ballot Hall of Famer, so I think it's even now.
That's great.
Yeah,
basically the NFL gave him the big middle finger.
Yeah, my favorite definitely out of the class is Larry Fitzgerald. He was just such an amazing talent and so consistent for so many years playing in Arizona.
Yeah, great player. Yeah, Kuechly, probably one of the best in his position ever. I mean, he deserves to get in there. Like this year, I mean, the 5 that are going in, they truly earned it. I mean, they really do deserve to go in there.
Yeah. So we actually have a couple more comments, but my favorite prospect or the favorite nominee in that class, I got to give it to Drew Brees because Drew Brees was an amazing QB for the Saints and probably the best one they've ever had.
Yeah.
Larry said draft for the Bills would be huge in determining their future. Another bad draft this year will severely hurt them. As if that wasn't bad enough. Because, again, McDermott is not running the show anymore. McDumbass is not there. This is all Brady now. Mm-hmm. So that's how I look at it. And Edward Blasek says, my only issue is Bean should have been gone too. And replace him with who? Exactly.
Right. That's the problem. Like, a lot of people wanted to replace both of them, but it's hard to bring in another GM, and then they want to bring in a coach. Because a lot of people also said you needed to get rid of the GM over the coach, but no GM is going to come in with a coach in place.
Right.
So it was either both of them go or the coach just goes. And I guess they wanted at least a little bit of consistency and stability, so they went with just the coach.
Yeah. And here's the other thing that a lot of people that I've seen in some of the forums comment, and they're talking about, well, Bean hired McDermott. That never happened. McDermott came first. Bean came about 6 months later because he still had to handle the draft for Carolina back at that time. And it was McDermott who wanted to have Bean in here. And so that's how that whole thing worked out. It was not the other way around. And then the other thing for people to remember is that with usually what happens in the NFL is that a GM will get at least one opportunity to hire their own coach, which that happened in this case. He of course decided to stay in-house, go with Joe Brady. You have the consistency, but at least Brady was a lot smarter with who he picked for his staff, because right now there's a lot of upgrades from what we had, a lot of upgrades. So now it's going to fall squarely on Bean. It's not going to be the other way around. And the other thing is now Brady reports directly to Bean. It's not where McDermott reported directly to Pegula and Bean reported directly to Pegula. Now it's more of a traditional setup that they had. And I know there were some internal power struggles because McDermott had his vision of what he wanted to see the team look like. Bean has another option of what he wants to see the team look like. And a lot of times what was happening is that, I think that it finally just wore out and McDermott just couldn't do it. Is he a nice guy? Absolutely. I mean, is he one of the he's like the second winningest coach ever for the Bills? It's great. He got us out of where we were 17 years of nothing, got us to be a regular playoff contender. That's good. I appreciate that. But in all that time that we've been in the playoffs, and Josh Allen's been in all of them except for basically from his second year going forward, or the first year Josh Allen didn't make it in, but after that, I mean, it was year 2 that McDermott didn't get in the playoffs. Every single year since then, he's been there. And it's on coaching to get the job done. It's also on the GM to make sure we have a roster. But I think McDermott, in a lot of ways, handcuffed what we could have truly been. In a lot of ways, he could only get so far. So now, with Brady coming in, it's going to be really nice to see what exactly happens. What is different with this team? And, and I think, especially with when the schedule comes out, we're going to talk about the schedule when that happens here on the show. I think potentially, because of course Mahomes is still out with a blown ACL, so he ain't gonna be back for a while. And I don't think New England's going to have the cakewalk that they had this year by any means, because you know what happens in the Super Bowl. You're going to get one of the toughest schedules, regardless of how you finish. I think the Bills have a potentially good opportunity to still make a run this coming season. And if we can draft smart, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
So
I think that's fair.
Yeah. So that being said, is you know what? Let's go to a commercial. We've already gone an hour on football. So, of course, coming up in the second half of the show, all three of us will be back. We're going to talk about the 2026 Winter Olympics. We're going to talk about some of the men's hockey. And there's a couple of things going in the NHL right now. And good thing we're not Nashville Predators fans, because their GM search is looking really bad. And we'll talk about some trade rumors. So, coming up in the second half, keep it here. We'll be right back.
This episode of I-86 After Dark is brought to you by Superfry, right here in Merrick, New York. Superfry is serving up homemade soup, legendary hand-cut fries, and wraps that always hit the spot. And if you're hungry for something next level, try the Zazzini, stacked with crispy bacon, melted mozzarella cheese, juicy chicken cutlet, and their signature Roscoe dressing. One bite and you'll know why it's a local favorite. So when you're craving real flavor, head to Superfry in Merrick, New York. Big taste, handcrafted, and always fresh. To place your order, call 516-379-SOUP or just scan the QR code on your screen and get Superfry fast.
All right, welcome back to I-86 After Dark, everybody. It is, of course, me, the Ginger Hammer, Buffalo Bob. Dame is back here after his skiing accident, so it's good to have everybody back. And, of course, I mean, we're glad to have you here as well. So, of course, feel free to drop some comments here, and we're going to be on for probably about another half hour, 45 minutes or so, like we usually are. And if you want to check the show out, anything you missed, go to YouTube, go to any of the socials, go to Spotify. You can download us on the go. So, it's interesting. We don't have a whole lot of stuff in the NHL right now because it is a 2-week Olympic break. But the Olympics did make their opening ceremonies on Friday. And right now, the U.S. is in second place in terms of the medal count. So basically with where we were at so far, I mean, the U.S. has 12 medals. So they have 4 golds, 6 silvers, 2 bronze. Only Norway has bested them so far with 7 golds, 2 silvers, and 4 bronze medals. So they have 13. Italy, Switzerland, and Germany round out the top 5. So, kind of throwing it out there. We'll have a little bit of fun with it. But, Jesus, and we got figure skating on again on this one channel. I ain't watching that. But, no, what are some of your thoughts overall with, like, some of the things that you've seen?
Well, Damien, would you like to go first?
Sure. I guess what the thing I've been most impressed with was the women's hockey team. They've scored 5 goals in every single contest so far, including a 5-0 drubbing of Team Canada. I think they've only let in. Yeah, I think they've only let in 1 goal the whole Olympics so far. So the USA women's hockey team has been pretty dominant.
Yeah, first shutout of Canada, and it's like over was it 25 or 30 years or something crazy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's some crazy number. But you know what? The women's team for the U.S. is really damn good. But I will say, from retrospective, they've just been playing lights out. And it feels like to me that all 4 lines on that team are just so good. And they're so dominant. They're very well coached. And I think that they have a very good chance this year to bring home a gold medal. Silver at best, if they get that far.
Yeah, 100%. And I got to say, give a shout out to our hometown person, Haley Skamura, one of the forwards. I mean, she is just lights out. I mean, she always shows up. But then they're stacked. I mean, you have Haley Skamura. You look at Kendall Coyne Schofield, Alex Carpenter, Joy Dunn, Hannah Bilka, Tessa Janicki, Hillary Knight. I mean, it's like a who's who of great hockey players. Yeah, when you look at it, and then you have some younger people on the team, like Ava McNaughton from University of Wisconsin, or you look at even thinking about a Gwyneth Phillips or Abby Murphy. I mean, younger players. I mean, Abby Murphy's playing for University of Minnesota right now. Tessa Janicki, Penn State, and then you have several other University of Wisconsin players such as Kirsten Sims or Layla Edwards. And then you also have Caroline Harvey, another University of Wisconsin player. So when you think about what they've been able to get out of Penn State and University of Wisconsin and University of Minnesota to round out all the other PWHL stars that they have. I mean, that team is damn good, and they've been great, even 4 years ago. But I could tell you right now, and I'm going to make a quick prediction. I think they are going to take the gold medal this year because they're just stacked.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to stop them.
Maybe Canada if they get their shit straightened out.
I don't know, man.
They haven't been showing up. I mean, Team Canada, the women's team, they have not been playing to expectations so far.
Well, no, but if we're being realistic here, and I'm not being sexist, but I think that a lot of people are more looking forward to the Canadian men's Olympic team than they are for the women's, because I think anybody with a brain would know that the United States, especially for women, they've gotten so good in the last few years with women's hockey. It's not even funny.
Yeah, I would love to see a PWHL team back here. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be happening anytime soon. But that team is really, really well built. I mean, they're stacked on all sides. I mean, defensively, they're great. They have really nice goaltending, and their forwards are absolutely among the best. So, I mean, I definitely think if they were to not gold medal, I mean, silver medal runner up, but I don't see many teams really going at them full out at all.
No, because they got disappointed by Team Canada 4 years ago, and I don't think they're going to let that happen again.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but how do you guys feel about the men's coming over? Because a lot of them are NHL players. How do you feel about them playing in the Olympics? And it's been long overdue.
I always like the amateurs playing. I know people want to see the best of the best, so they like the pros in there. I'm not against it, but I don't know. Like the Miracle on Ice in 1980 in Lake Placid, those were a bunch of nobodies and college players, and I don't know. I kind of prefer that.
So
I get it.
So you prefer the formula for Miracle on Ice compared to now is basically what you're saying. Okay.
Plus, us being Islander fans, we're always terrified that somebody's going to get hurt, like John Tavares did that time. I mean, Bo Horvat's kind of playing on one leg right now, and I'm praying that he doesn't get hurt in these Olympics.
Well, I mean, if Team Canada is smart, what they should do is limit his ice time when they need to. So that way they can be like, okay, screw the Olympics. Why not have him play in the Olympics? But yeah, granted, he's never played on the Canadian team, but it's a huge honor, especially at that rate where you're given this opportunity to represent your country. And correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Bo Horvat on Team Canada during the Four Nations face-off last year?
I don't think so. Could be right. I could be wrong, but I don't remember him playing for their Team Canada.
Well, obviously it was like McDavid and Marchand and Camp Benton and all those guys. I have no idea. I hardly remember it, but I know for a fact that the main guys I'm naming, like Crosby, McKinnon, all those guys were on Team Canada for the Four Nations. But
I don't think Corvette was part of it.
Okay. So
I don't think he was, because the New York Post actually had him quoted as he didn't play well enough to make the Four Nations team, and he was honestly trying to make the Olympic team instead.
Yeah, well, he earned it, and obviously, they want to caution him from getting hurt, and I understand it. And limitations are always going to come about with guys like Bo Horvat, but you got to be careful with these things. But I will say, though, from a retrospective, I am excited to see how everybody else plays out. Because if you go on, I don't know, what did you say you have on earlier, Tom? You said you have figure skating?
Yeah, that was on, so I turned it off.
Well, I was going to say
nothing against the figure skaters. I just don't care for it.
Well, I was trying to tell you that if you go on Peacock, if you have it, or NBC,
I
well, I was going to say Slovakia is playing Finland right now.
Okay, I might throw it on then.
Well, yeah, I'm just throwing that on. But yeah, I just wanted to throw it out there. And the U.S. plays tomorrow, I think. I don't really know exactly who they're playing. Let me actually check the NHL app, because the NHL app is also very helpful because it tells you like who plays who. Because earlier today, Sweden beat Italy 5-2, and Slovakia. Oh, this is an encore. So Slovakia beat Finland 4-1 earlier today. So tomorrow there are 4 games. You have at 6 a.m. you have Switzerland versus France. 10:30 you have Czech team versus Canada, and then at 3 p.m. you have Latvia versus the United States, and then at 3 p.m. you have Germany versus Denmark tomorrow. Mm-hmm. That's an interesting concept, but we'll see.
So how do you feel our chances are against Latvia?
Pretty high, I guess you could say. Star power.
I hope we can beat them.
I think they will, but we'll see. But yeah, so we have a question from Jay, and he says, "What do you guys think of wait, what does that say? Of
Denmark.
Oh, Denmark. It's very weird how he wrote DE and then a question mark. Okay.
Maybe D.
And then he says, "Our
Draisaitl was playing for Germany."
Right. Yeah, and Moritz Seider is also playing for Germany, I think.
Yeah.
Or a threat to the U.S. this week. That's a good question. I mean, are you referring to the United States or Canada? Yeah, Germany, not Denmark.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so now it's becoming clear. As I was reading that like a dumbass, and I thought, what the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah, no, and I see what you mean. I actually did throw on Peacock, and I actually had the Slovakia-Finland game on from earlier where Slovakia was up 3-1 in the third.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm actually checking the schedule for this for what he's referring to. He's talking about the game on Sunday between the United States and Germany at 3 p.m. on Sunday.
I would have to think that the U.S. should be all right with it. So, I mean, I'm not super worried there.
I mean, the Italians couldn't beat the Swedes, so there's your answer. Mm-hmm. Although that's a completely different ball game. But
I think the U.S. has the best goaltending in the tournament, especially with Russia not being there.
It still bugs me that Russia's not in it, but it's whatever at this point, you know?
Right.
It's such a disaster. But what do you call it? But, like, who do you guys think is going to win the gold medal this year for the tournament for men's hockey?
I think it's Canada's to lose.
Yeah, they've got a good roster.
Yeah,
definitely say that. I mean, the U.S. has a nice roster also, but Canada, I think they want to go out there and prove themselves.
Yeah. I think Canada's got the size, the speed, the talent, and also the grit this time. You know, bringing players around like Tom Wilson this time.
Yeah.
Because that dude is just a beast out there on the ice.
Yeah. He'll throw hands with anybody. And I was going to say, and no matter what a lot of people think about him, I would love to have him as an enforcer on the team.
Oh, yeah. I hate him, but I'll take him on my team any day.
Same here. I mean, hate playing against him, but I would love to have him on there.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say is that I kind of I agree in the sense that Canada will probably win the gold, but I also disagree at the same time because half of the star players that were supposed to be on the team, like guys like Anthony Cirelli, is not even playing. And then you're bringing in Sam Bennett. I get it, but Canada's also not at full strength. But is Binnington going to be the most clutch goalie in tournament history? Who the hell knows at this point? But
you never know.
Could go either way.
Yeah, that's something that we're going to have to just sit back and watch for within the next 2 weeks. So we'll see what happens from here on out. But
that's all I got to do. That's all I got time for is to sit. So thank God the Olympics are on right now.
Right. Yeah. I say, worst case, Dame, if you need a bigger TV, I mean, Sam's Club has a 75-inch Samsung right now for $500.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll think about it.
I actually thought about getting one too. I was like, "Holy crap, that's actually not bad." But I actually want to save my money for an OLED or one of the.
Yeah, I need to get a new car first. I missed the Buffalo car show because that was the weekend that after I broke my leg. Yeah. I was hoping to go to that and look at all the different cars and see what I liked, but
yeah, I love going
best
to that.
laid plans.
Yeah, that's the other thing I'm going to look at some point. But I figured, you know what? Right now, as long as my Jeep's still doing good, I'm just going to run it in the ground. I got over 200, almost 213,000 miles on that thing for a 2012.
There you go.
Yeah, be like, I think, fourth set of tires I've thrown on there now on the time I've owned it. So something like that. Yeah, I got to throw some new front brakes on there eventually. But I mean, other than that, I've overhauled the entire car at least at one point or another. So
Yeah.
upgraded
You
a
don't
bunch of
stop.
stuff.
You just run it into a snowbank. It's totally fine.
Yeah. Oh, Bobby will tell you. I told him the story. I actually ran through a freaking snowbank on I-79 driving down to Pittsburgh when we went to that Bills game, right outside of Meadville. Yeah, I drove right through a damn snowbank. I'm actually lucky I didn't hit the damn guardrail because there was nothing but ice. Then on the way back, I ended up like same thing. I ended up hitting a bunch of snow on 79 once I went past Grove City, which is why I drove overnight instead of waiting until the morning. Which Bobby got to drive through Pittsburgh snow that morning.
Oh, it was bad.
Yeah,
it was
all the hills and everything.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But so to continue with the Olympics for a little bit, do you guys watch any other like events outside of hockey for the Olympic tournament?
So
been watching everything pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I've had different things on here and there. I mean, I saw some curling last night. Saw the luge a couple times now, actually, the men's and the women's.
How about Ben Ogden's cross-country skiing sprint? It ended a 50-year U.S. men's drought.
Yeah, I saw that earlier today. That was crazy.
I think they won the gold.
I saw him on TV, and I was like, how old is that dude? Like 40, 45? And he looked old. And then they were like, he's 25. I was like,
holy shit. Yeah,
okay,
but
he looks extremely old.
Yeah, but no, that sprint, I was like, holy shit. I'm like, how the hell are you getting to ski off the ground like that?
Probably years.
The Norwegian in that race was just insane.
I know.
He just took off, and he was like just way out in front.
Yeah, that's for certain. But aside from the men's skiing jump, which that was crazy. I think the U.S. actually won a gold medal for that, at least for the men's department. Mm-hmm. But I will say, outside of hockey, obviously, curling, especially mixed curling, has been fun for me to watch because, for one, I found out my wife, of all people, says of all the things she watches during the Olympics is curling. And I'm saying to myself, okay, what's special about curling? And I actually sat down and watched the round robin tournament over the weekend. And then I was watching the gold medal game at work yesterday. And I'm like, fuck, because, Sweden and the Swedish people that were on that team that won the gold were actually twins. They were siblings, brothers and sisters, which is crazy. And I think her name was Corey Tisi, if I'm not mistaken, her name, and Corey Dropkin, Corey and Corey. I think Corey Tisi is the first woman to ever win any type of medal in mixed curling, and she won the silver yesterday.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah. No, it's always interesting watching that because, I mean, curling's not on all the time. I mean, you're not going to find it like really often unless you throw on the one Canadian station we have here in Buffalo, and you'll see it on there sometimes. But hey, nothing like working with a 40-pound stone with a brush across the ice to try and make it hydroplane a little bit so you can actually get it inside the target, or what they call the house.
Yeah. I was going to say, do you guys think curling is like golf but on ice?
I feel like it's more like shuffleboard.
Right. I've heard some people compare it to chess before.
I could see that comparison because it's like you have like one rock in the middle of the entire hole, and then the opposite team has to try to shoot these rocks across them, and they're trying to knock them out. I honestly was really hooked on to curling, and recently I found out, and it's coming out in April, I found out that there's going to actually be a professional curling league called the Rock League, and it's coming out in April, and there's already a team in Canada. And I didn't really look at the other teams yet across the country, if not the world, but there's going to be a very small independent curling league coming out in April. And I'm actually curious of how you could watch the games, because I personally think that if you can make curling into a professional sport, I think that you're going to get a lot of people's attention.
Very well could happen. I mean, and And a lot of times, like whenever you see curling in the area, I mean, it's usually going to be something where you have like some of the local clubs. Like I know Buffalo has a curling club, and you go across the border to Niagara Falls, Canada. I know they have a place over there also. And I mean, and I always thought, in a sense, it'd be pretty cool to like try it out maybe once and see what it's like, and go from there. But but I remember as like a kid, it was like one of those sports. It always seemed pretty cool just watching it sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but I just wanted to throw that out there that I've really grown to really like curling as not as an Olympic sport, but just fun to watch in general. Actually, I would prefer to watch curling over golf, and that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me. But I guess you could say from retrospective, though, let's hope for everybody representing the countries, in the Olympics this year, because it's every 4 years. And I just realized this is the first time ever in the history of the show that we've ever covered the Olympics.
Yeah, I was going to say, we didn't even do it on the old show.
No, because there were no NHL players at that time. And I think that, hockey wasn't big in Pyeongchang at the time, but let's see. Is Austin Matthews captain or is Charlie McAvoy? I think Matthews got named captain, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's Matthews.
I think it is Matthews. Yeah, because I know for Canada it's Crosby, but I know.
No way.
Well, that's no surprise.
No, not at all. But no. So, I mean, there's, good for Austin Matthews in general, though.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah. But, I was going to say, like, anyone notice, like, anyone's sick of that freaking drone camera in the Olympics?
What drone camera?
Like the one
I like it, except for the noise of it.
Yeah. That's the only thing. I mean, it's cool. You get to see like a front person view of everything, but that like whirring noise is like a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I mean, I never really noticed, honestly. I mean, I don't see it happening for like during games for hockey, and I didn't really notice it in curling. I know they do like open mics during curling and other sports, which is good, which is pretty cool to see. But in general, I don't really have an opinion about that.
Watch any of like the skiing with like the jumps or the luge, bobsleds, like you literally hear it. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I gotta check that out when I get a chance.
Yeah, and actually all over Jay says that drone camera sucks.
Yeah, that's for certain. But there's actually Trouble in Paradise in Nashville. I don't know if you guys heard that or not.
Oh, yeah. They decided to hire CAA, or Creative Artists Agency, for their GM search, and that's not going over very well.
Yeah, and it turns out that CAA Sports has ended its GM search contract with the Nashville Predators after the NHLPA launched a review into the deal for a potential conflict of interest violation of a certified agent regulation, according to SPJ. And the regulations state that any agency which represents NHL players, which the CAA does a lot actually, may not also have a role in any executive or front office or coaching personnel hiring processes, even if it is being conducted by a different arm of the agency.
Yeah, Frank Saravelli also had that on X earlier, and yeah, it's not good. You can't
do that.
You can't hire like your executive that represents your own players. Also, I mean, come on.
I'm pretty sure that's up to teams to decide who they want to bring in as their GM or their coach. That's up to them. You can't hire.
Wouldn't this be Nashville's third ever GM?
Something like that, because Poyle was David Poyle, and
went
then
from Poyle to Trotz, and now this is going to be their third.
Well, I've heard that Trotz is going to officially step down till after the trade deadline.
Right. Which is smart, this way at least you have your players in.
But it's like, if you knew that you were going to be bad at your job, why didn't you step down at the beginning of the year? And you could have given the team some opportunity to find an executive that would be willing to work with you.
I mean, it's a good thought. I mean, it's a good point. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes, people's priorities change, like, as you go throughout.
I mean, I get that he wants to spend time with his family and all that stuff, which is no problem at all. I mean, I personally don't blame him because that dude is in his mid to late 60s. So I think at this point he wants to be with his family, and obviously he wants to kind of relax and get away from the sport. But do I see him getting a head coaching gig in the NHL anytime soon? I don't think so. But I will say is that he's officially now in the same conversation as like Mike Holmgren or Phil Jackson or any other guy who thinks that being a great head coach does not translate to being a good executive. And that's exactly what Barry Trotz just went through.
Well, look at all the Islander fans that were clamoring for him. Oh, they should have made him the GM. It's like, geez, well, we dodged that bullet.
Right.
Yeah, that was abysmal. But I am curious though who they're going to bring in as the GM, because you want to build a good foundation, and obviously you want to start building from the ground up, because I think the way that Trotz handled it, and he was only been the GM for what, 2.5 years at this point? 3?
Yeah, it wasn't long.
Yeah.
It's not a long stay, but if you look at his resume, what has he really done?
I don't know. He signed a lot of bad contracts.
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
Yeah, trying the Marshall, Brady Shea, Steven Stamkos. There's a bunch of other players that he signed, and he also made some bad trades, which doesn't help their case either.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder how Gerald in our War Room chat's taking that news.
He doesn't believe it, but who gives a shit what he thinks?
Yeah, he's also the Bengals fan on top of it.
And Ravens fan, and quote.
Okay, how the fuck do you like the Ravens and the Bengals at the same time when they're both rivals? Like, how?
I don't know.
Is he like? Did he get like dropped on his head as a kid, or like did drugs or something? I mean, Jesus Christ, you don't like either of those teams at the same time.
That'd be like me saying I'm a Bills fan, but I like the Patriots.
That'd be
Dude,
like
I get shit because I go to the Sabres games and I wear my Sabres jersey. And people are like, I thought you were an Islander fan. I'm like,
or
that'd be like, aren't even playing, so I'm gonna wear my Sabres jersey.
Or that'd be like our friend Rob Hazu, how he loves the Steelers, and then of course going to Cincinnati and being a Cincinnati fan. I mean, it's one or the other, dude.
No.
It's one thing if you want to root for a team, but it's another when it's somebody within your own division.
Yeah, and a heated rival.
Like, I went to a Ranger game once just to be inside MSG, but I went once. That was it.
Right. Well, it's like I went to the old barn once, but although I did don my Sabres gear in that place, which was fun. I will say that. It was a good time there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But speaking of the Sabres, apparently the Sabres have been linked to Teddy Bluger from the Vancouver Canucks.
That's interesting. I didn't even hear about that.
Yeah,
I just heard about that today.
Okay, so I'm not alone. So Damon is also
no, I did hear the same rumor, but I'm just kind of perplexed because I don't really know how that really makes the Sabres better.
I guess it's veteranosity. I mean, it's a very weird story, but like the way I look at it is the Sabres have been irrelevant for a while, and I think that based on what they've been able to do, I think at some point they should be at least rewarded for what they've been able to do ever since getting rid of Kevin Adams. That's how I view it. And that's how Matthew Darsh does it with the Islanders. He's like, well, you guys played so well through the majority of the year. Surprisingly, you played much better than people thought. Let me go get you Andre Palat. Let me go get you Carson Soucy. But it's funny because there's now more rumors coming out of any team through the Olympic break than any other year. Even, surpassing the All-Star break.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hammer, how do you feel about the Sabres news coming out that they're willing to hold on to Alex Tuck and see how far they can go this year rather than trying to trade him and get anything back?
I don't blame them. Don't fix what's not broke. But at the same time, I mean, the thing that sucks is if he walks in free agency, obviously we get nothing for him. So then you lose that. But then if you were to try to trade Alex Tuck and he wants a $10 million contract, who the fuck is going to take him?
Well, you could definitely count the Kings out because they got Panarin.
Right. So they're out.
In a way, it's kind of interesting because I can actually see this being one or two things. Either the Sabres make up the money and they go get, a contract extension done with Alex Tuck, and then from there, maybe bring in some supply and demand. Because Tuck is the big question mark because you don't really know what you're going to get out of him because he's been great for them since he got traded there a few years ago. But there has to be a
He ain't
time
worth
where you pay.
10.2.
Yeah,
He's not worth 10.2.
No, he's not. He's not. And I feel like
say he's more in line with around 8 to 8.5.
Yeah, maybe 9.
Maybe. He is
But
putting up in a contract year, but
yeah. But then once you start hitting over 10, now you're starting to go into McDavid territory.
Yeah. Plus, isn't he already 29?
Yeah.
So you're looking at diminishing returns pretty quickly.
Right. Within at least the next couple seasons.
Yeah. Well, I think McDavid makes $12.5 million. So that's $2.5 million short to what Tuck would make at that point, or what McDavid makes. I don't know. It's such a tough ask because you're talking about a top 6 player who's arguably your best player with Tage Thompson and with all those guys, and there's no way around that whatsoever. You need to sign the guy, at least how I look at it, because it's like you don't want to lose him, but if you feel obligated of trading him, then do it. At least that's how I look at it. And the worst part is that they're not going to have a lot of time because the freeze is up, in the end of February, I think the 24th, if I'm not mistaken. And they'll only have at least a week and a half to trade Alex Tuck if it were to come down to that. So I think during the Olympic break, I think this would be a really good opportunity for Yarmo and the team to make a decision of what are they going to do with him.
I'm going to go on record stating that it would be a huge mistake for the Sabres to hold on to Tuck. I mean, they're having a great season. Don't get me wrong. Are they going to win the Stanley Cup? That's going to be a little bit of a stretch.
Right.
They need to get as much back as they can get for Tuck if he's not going to sign for a reasonable term.
Right. So with the trademark, so basically once, of course, the freeze ends up coming off, what are some of your thoughts in terms of who do you try to target in exchange for Tuck? Because right now, if he's wanting anywhere from 10 to 10.2, and apparently now his agent wants more, going closer to 10.5, I mean, there's got to be a point where his agent's got to be smacked upside his head. It's you're not getting 10 to 10.5. It's not happening.
Yeah, but he could be trying to leverage his way out of Buffalo, kind of like Noah Dobson did with the Islanders.
Sure.
Because Noah Dobson was I want $11 million per, and the Islanders were like, no way, bye. Right. We're going to trade you.
Or how about Hanifin a few years ago? I mean, he wanted out.
But then he ended up going to Montreal and signing at 8.5, which is still too high for him. But he wanted $11 million with the Islanders to stay. That's how badly he wanted out. I'm not saying Tuck wants out, but who knows?
Right. Yeah. He's doing his own power play.
Yeah, I don't know. But the other thing, too, I've also heard recently, and this is actually really new, is you and I, Damien and Tom, have talked about in the last couple of weeks, even before Damien broke his leg, we've been talking about this, about how the Islanders may not be done making a trade, another trade down the road. Another name has just come up, and it started the game momentum, is Jordan Kyrou, and he's apparently available from the Islanders. The Blues are willing to trade him, but the Islanders want him. But the question is, what's it going to take to get him?
Probably at least one first, if not two.
Right.
He's not worth 2 firsts.
Yeah, and then if you don't go with the 2 option, then you're going to go with probably a first and probably either Eklund or Yzerman as part of the deal.
Right. Probably going to want a top 5, player, established player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, to me, Richie should be off the table.
Well, yeah.
But I mean, those are the type of players that teams are going to want.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if I were the Islanders in this deal, I would say if they're going to trade with the Blues, I would say definitely trade the first round pick they got from Colorado a year ago for Brock Nelson. You trade that first round pick. You trade the third that you got back from the Devils for Andre Palat, and you give up Cole Eiserman, and you give up a fourth in 2028. That's how I look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, deal.
Boom.
Yeah. And actually, Jay had a couple comments on here as well. And one of the comments he has is if they get Ryan Martin, the Predators are in trouble. And then he also says if the Sabres are in the playoffs, who do you think they play first, the Panthers or the Leafs?
Oh,
that's a good question.
Well, let's see.
Well, screw the Leafs, but they've actually been playing well lately, so.
They have, but it's not a guarantee.
Yeah, they're actually somewhat out of the basement after that horrific start they had.
I don't know. As of right now, like the Maple Leafs and the Panthers, they got some work to do to even get into a playoff spot.
Right. I mean, they're fringe at best.
All it takes is the power of friendship.
Right. I don't know. That's an interesting question, Jay. I mean, of course, we know Leafs choke. We know that. But the Panthers, if they get hot at the right time, I almost would not want to play them.
No.
Well, in my opinion, if everything goes south, I think if the Sabres are really pushing to make the playoffs this year, I honestly think they have a shot to either play the Red Wings, the Canadiens, or the Hurricanes. That's what I think. If they stay where they are for the rest of the year, I can see them playing Carolina.
Not exactly who I'd want to face off against, but
no, I hate that fucking team.
Yeah, and they own us every single freaking time we're in the playoffs.
Yeah, and if the playoffs start today, the Islanders would play the Penguins.
Yeah. But the Sabres could finally get their revenge for 2007.
Yeah. Of course, Carolina Panthers have owned us this year.
Yeah, it's going to be a bumpy ride towards the end, but we'll see what happens because there's still a lot of time left before the playoffs. But we'll see what happens at the end of the day. So yeah. I think with that being said, I actually forgot about something. You know what?
Couple trade rumors or
no? I think we're done with that because there's not a whole lot to discuss as far as the rumors go. But there actually is something that we usually do within every episode or every other episode. You know where I'm going with this, right? Do you want to take a guess who the next?
The upcoming interviews.
Yeah, you want to take a guess who we're having coming up?
Definitely alumni.
Yeah. It's a former Buffalo Bills alumni. That's your first guess. He was a defensive back from, I think, 1978 all the way to 84 with the Bills. And he is currently the president of the Buffalo Bills Alumni Association. So that's your guess. If you guys want to put it in the comment section who you think it is, go right ahead. So once again, he was the defensive back for the Bills. And one time I think he had 3 interceptions against the Dolphins in 1980. And he played for them for 78 to 84. He's the president of the Bills Alumni Association. And he was on the Bills for all those years. So that's your guesses of who do you think it is. Damien, do you have any ideas?
I actually have no idea.
I know exactly who it is because I was in the interview. I'm just not saying anything about it.
Yeah, I should know, but I don't.
Okay. You're
not going to know. So with that being said, I think it's time to announce who our guy is going to be. So with that being said, thank you, Tom, for the drum roll. So with that being said, here we go. That's right. Jeff Dixon is going to be on I-86 After Dark next Wednesday at 10 Eastern Standard Time, 10 p.m. So, yeah, that's going to be a hell of a interview for sure.
Yeah, that was a fun one to record. A lot of cool stuff we talked about, especially some of the older days within the franchise, and of course, hey, watch us first, watch the interview after, you get a double dose of us.
Yeah, no, Jeff was cool. I definitely admire him for sure. And he was one of the few people I wanted to have on the show for a while, and I'm glad that it worked out that way. So
Yep.
yeah, so he's gonna be on the show next week, and very nice guy overall. And I think he's the 4th or 5th Bills player that we've interviewed this season.
Yeah. So yeah, very cool to have on. And actually there is one last thing I will throw in before we wrap up. And this is going back to the Sabres, but preliminary talks about upgrades are underway with the KeyBank Center. So they have partnered with Populous, which is the architecture firm doing the new Highmark Stadium. And basically with that, they want to increase the number of events that they have in there every year. And basically from there, talks are underway. And I know a couple of sites have estimated what it's going to be, but think of it this way. The arena only cost about $127 million to build and open up in 1996. Estimated renovation cost is about $430 million.
Mm-hmm.
So,
All I want is bigger seats and better bathrooms.
Yes. And a few more escalators to go between the 100 level and the 300 level, please, on both sides.
Yeah, that would be good too.
Yes, that would be nice. And hell, even enclose the Alumni Plaza, make it usable space that's indoors. I mean, you don't have to take out anything, but hey, make it usable.
Yeah. Well, you definitely need better sight lines, especially when you walk in the concourse, because all the new stadiums, when you walk in the concourse, you could see the ice action.
Yep, so, absolutely. Put all the concessions on the
I don't
back
know if that's
wall,
something that they can do retroactively.
That probably could just block wall. I mean, as long as there's no supports they have to worry about it, they should be fine, I would think.
I think at the very least they could at least do it on both ends.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see.
Yeah, and rip out the old ribbon board on the 300 level and match it to the 200 level that was put in a few years ago. That would be nice. Maybe throw a couple like large boards on each end so we can see stats and different things. I mean, the center scoreboard is a really nice upgrade, honestly. That they needed.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, which that was good. They took a page out of the Bills playbook and went with Mitsubishi and not their previous provider, which is why it looks a hell of a lot better. So
there you go.
That's that. Which the new Highmark Stadium?
Speed Skater just sent the Olympic record in front of Snoop Dogg.
Oh, nice. Yeah, he's actually been pretty hilarious to watch on some of the coverage.
Oh yeah, he's entertaining.
Snoop Dogg.
Oh yeah, he's got to smoke his weed every day. You know that.
You ever watch those old?
You
ever see him like? I was gonna say, you ever see the Snoop Dogg videos on the internet with him just like narrating like Nat Geo or something like that?
Oh, he's hilarious.
Oh my god, what a character!
I love Snoop Dogg.
I
Absolutely,
do too.
Yeah.
He's like the coolest motherfucker in the world.
Smoking menthol, sipping on gin and juice.
Laid back.
Riders on the storm.
Yeah, remember back in the 90s when he had that freaking lowrider and I was like jumping like all the way up and down.
Hit my ride, bitch. Yeah.
Yeah, that reminds me. That's his video, Nothing But a G Thing. And if you ever watch it, half of it's censored for obvious reasons.
Yeah, damn straight.
Oh,
damn straight.
Man. Well, damn, I will tell you one thing, man. If you get a chance, if you do go to Wegmans, man, pick up Cold Snap. That is good stuff. I mean, actually, it's not bad. It's actually not really alcoholic. It's only 5.3, so it's not bad. But it's actually got.
I'm trying to remember if I had that because I know Sam Adams just came out with that, and I thought I had it because I was like, "What do you have on tap?" And they said Sam Adams, and I was like, "Oh, the Winter Lager," and they're like, "Yeah, the Winter Lager."
Mm-hmm.
And then that came, and I was just like,
"Yeah,
this is not Winter Lager."
Yeah, no, it's not. Cold Snap actually is not even. It's not even as strong either because I think Winter Lager is like 7.2, 7.5, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I drank it, but I was just like, "This is not Winter Lager. This is such a different beer."
Oh, I know. No, I love the Winter Lager. I mean, actually, that was like one of the ones. I mean, I try to get that every year when it comes out. The funny thing is actually when I was at the store earlier today. They actually had the Leinenkugel Summer Shandy at Wegmans already for like $20 for the pack. So.
Well, I heard they still have the Bud Light Highmark beer made with the snow from Highmark. I heard
yeah.
it's still available.
I haven't found it. I might have to go to Consumers. I have that right around. I literally like 5 minutes.
No, it's not at Consumers. I heard it's at some of the different Wegmans in town still.
Oh, all right. I might have to go out to Amherst then because I didn't see it at the Niagara Falls one.
Nah.
That's like right up the street from me. And then and my high school friend and neighbor is actually commenting on here too. So my friend Tabitha, she says, "Got my mind on my money and my money on my mind." So referring to the Snoop talk. and she says Sam Adams is good. Hey, my friend, we'll drink up on Friday. So you guys are welcome over, of course. So you know that. And thanks for the shot at James. And thanks for a couple shots at Jameson on you, by the way, too. That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's all fun. Yeah, having a high school friend as a neighbor, so it's really cool. So
cool.
Go back a long ways. So fun stuff. But I was gonna say, we've gone. Yeah, we're about almost 2 hours in. So what do you say we call it a wrap for this week?
Oh yeah, I'm ready to pass out.
All right. Well, hey, you got the hospital drugs. You can do that. So you got the good stuff. But or actually, if you want, I've got some THC edibles I can give you. So it's like.
Oh, I got those in the back, but I haven't had any since I broke my leg.
Yeah, no, I got it for
maybe
doing
soon.
A job recently. Yeah, I got stuff for doing a job recently. It's like, hey, here's some edibles. So it's like 10% or something crazy. It's up there, but
there you go.
Yeah, so that's all good. But in the meantime, of course, we appreciate you guys joining us as always. And of course, the Jeff Nixon interview will be next week after the show, 10 p.m. Eastern. Of course, join us 2 hours before, 8 p.m. Eastern next week. And in the meantime, as always, if you want to catch out our older stuff, go to any of the socials or go to Spotify.com to download us. But in the meantime, of course, Dan, Bob, and myself, take care of yourselves and each other, and we will see you next Wednesday night.
See you next Wednesday, guys.
Wear a helmet while skiing.